What's up, guys? Sparring Cat, and in today's Battle Cats video, I'm doing part 1 of ranking the collab sets in the Battle Cat. Let's get right into this list, and starting things off strong, I'm going to put who I think is one of, if not the only S tiers, even though this isn't an S tier, it's going to go on an awesome collab. It's a Aanglion, and think about it. The entire Battle Cats theme changes, so you have all these cool wallpapers and stuff, all these cool sounds, songs, all of the above, and on top of that, there are 12 Ubers, in which I would say most of them are decent or good, and they all look absolutely sick. So we're getting a big collab here, and whenever it comes on, it's just a mood, and I don't think any other collab can really replicate how well it's celebrated. You know, it comes on, Battle fans are very excited for it, and it's very enjoyable because there are good Ubers, all the graphics are insane, and all in all, everything that is in there between the music, the stages, and the graphics in general is just awesome. So I'm going to put Aanglion on an S tier, which is awesome here, and I don't think many are going to beat it. Next, and this collab, to me, it isn't about the unit, who is pretty bad, or the other unit, which is pretty bad, but it's about how big this used to be. If you don't know Pen, Pineapple, Apple Pen, you know, if you don't remember it or anything, then you might be too young to be watching this video. Just kidding. But this was a great meme for anybody who does remember. About a decade ago, this was all over the internet, and the fact that it was able to become part of the Battle Cats through a collab is just really awesome. And unfortunately, this only happened one time, so if you weren't playing about a decade ago, you don't have access to these units. I personally don't, so don't feel too bad. But I think this is a really good collab. The only thing stopping it from being awesome is the fact that there were only two units. There wasn't really a gacha or anything like that, and these units weren't very good. But this is a very nostalgic event to many people, and the fact that it was a global trend and the Battle Cats and Ponos and Pen, Pineapple, Apple Pen and all that stuff collaborated, it was just a really good feeling to see the Battle Cats reach out to such a big group. Moving on, we have, oh boy, what's the name of this? Pocopang? Honestly, I want to say average or forgettable, because the characters themselves are decently recognizable, but the fact that I have to have a script here to remember the name, and the fact that these units are all really, really bad, and it's such an infrequent collab, I'm going to have to put in forgettable. It's a cool thing. I mean, honestly, all these collabs are pretty cool, but in terms of comparing it to Aanglion or Pen, Pineapple, Apple Pen, I think it really does pale in comparison, so I'm going to throw it there. Next on the list, we have the newest one, which hasn't come to Battle Cats English yet. I'm going to put this in good, though, because the Sonic that I know of here actually has really good stats. It's the new fastest unit in the game, and the fact that Sonic and Ponos collaborated is something I wouldn't have expected before GTA 6. But anyways, it's just really cool that those two mega companies were able to meet together and come up with something like this. And not only that, but it's a good unit that people in Japan right now are probably really enjoying. And I'm praying that Battle Cats English gets it at some point or another, but I don't know if we will. So that's going to go up in a good collab. It'll be awesome if it can become worldwide, but right now it's not in Battle Cats English, so we have to keep our fingers crossed. Next in. Now, I know the units in this aren't very good, but I'm going to put Hermit and all that stuff. Metal Slug Defense, I'm going to put that in good. I think it's just a really, really cool event in terms of how they have a gacha where you can only get Metal Slug units. And additionally, this is the first collab, so some of these Ubers are outdated in terms of their usages and stuff. You know, this event's now a decade old. So just think of Nikaluga, you know, in my last video I covered that, so if you didn't watch it already, please check it out. But it's just like Nikaluga, who was the first Uber. They just have skill sets that aren't very good. You know, they're very basic, or they have very replaceable niches, but that doesn't even matter here. I just think Metal Slug, in terms of collaborating with the Battle Cats, it was really cool, and they have come back a few times. And I think it's been a really fun collab every time I've seen them. I always roll. I don't know if I've gotten an Uber or not, but if you get Huge Hermit, then it's not the end of the world. Even though he's a pretty bad Uber, just live with it because he's cool, and you can only roll him once every blue moon. Next, Hassumiku. And the global impact that Hassumiku has is significant. And the fact that this event has been reoccurring with good Ubers, good storyline, and a lot of stages and stuff. Yeah, I'm going to put in awesome. I think it doesn't quite reach up to the S tier I have right now, which would be Aanglion, but I do think Hassumiku is one of the best collabs in the Battle Cats just because of the global impact it has. And additionally, I think it was a really well executed really well executed collab where it has come back many times with good units and whatnot, so I'm going to put it up there. Next, Moa Moa. It's an average collab, but I do appreciate the talents that Moa Moa has gotten since the last couple years, because before that, Moa Moa was known as a meme, and in past videos, I've made fun of Moa Moa being the worst Uber in the game, and that was probably true until he got talents. And now he's a good Uber. I wouldn't say he's exceptional, but if you want 5,000 DPS from 551 range, then knock yourself out. Also, seeing how he has an 80% dodge, he's a really good unit, but the other units aren't so good, and the rest of the collab is kind of mid. But I would say that Moa Moa has saved it from being a really bad collab just because of the new usages he has. And also, even when he was a meme, it brought a lot of attention to the collab. So either way, I would say he has kept it above water. Do a couple more. This Dancing Bear. Beta Kuma. I'm going to put this in forgettable, honestly. I know this was kind of similar to Pen Pineapple Pen in terms of it being some trendy dance or whatnot, trendy song, but it just doesn't have anywhere near the scope that Pen Pineapple Apple Pen had, and this unit is just pretty forgettable as well. I had to do research on all of these, and some of these I didn't even know, so I'm going to have to put them in forgettable. I feel like, these are cute little animals and stuff. They're kind of gimmicky, but it just doesn't have the same effect that Pen Pineapple Pen or Sonic or Hassumiku has had on pop culture, so I'm going to put it down in forgettable. Do a couple more. We have Street Fighter. I want to skip to that and put that in good collab. It's a shame that most of the units in this set are bad because everybody wants the Street Fighter to equip, but I also think that the stages are decently cool, and the fact that the units are in full scale and very well animated and detailed definitely adds some nostalgia to maybe some older Battle Cats players who grew up on Street Fighter, or just younger kids who think that the Street Fighter characters are really cool. But nonetheless, I think it bridges the gap between generations, and I think a lot of people can appreciate Street Fighter. I think a lot of people have played it at one point or another, so I want to put it in good. But the actual units, most of them aren't that good. I do think that this could probably top good tier. I think I'll put it over Pen Pineapple Pen, just because this is done more in terms of pop culture, and it has also brought us more units, which most of them are also decent. So, good collab, but I think it just misses awesome due to the low stats of a lot of the Ubers. And I'll do one more, so that way we're at an even 10. And what's even the name of this collab? I'm trying to remember that. I think Sigma is a pretty decent collab, but other than the profound jawline, it doesn't offer a whole lot. The units in it aren't too great, but the main gimmick are the big jaws and just being average, I guess. I do think it's interesting, but I don't have a ton of information on it other than the amount of memes that have been brought upon it just because of the whole Sigma meme that has happened since it has been released. But I think it's funny, and a lot of Battle Cat fans can kind of unite behind this and laugh at it a little bit. I personally think it's funny. And it's Chakarel. I don't know why I forgot the name, but Chakarel, there's enemies with big jaws, there's cats with big jaws, and that's kind of the joke. But if you enjoyed part 1 of my collaboration units tier list, please make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, as it all greatly helps us grow together as our channel is starting to grow even more. So thank you so much. And please leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. Spartan Cat signing off, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.